Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Fox News. You know, I have a little bit of a love-hate relationship with the network. Not a huge fan of the leadership, and a lot of the hosts, just your typical rhino Republicans. People go crazy for Sean Hannity. My dad loves Sean Hannity. He's always telling me about how great he is. He's alright. There's some bad people at the network, there's some alright people at the network, and then, of course, there's the saviors of the network. I'm looking right in the direction of Judge Jeanine, but then, of course, there's an unsung hero, a guy who doesn't get enough credit, and who's probably the most based, the most badass, the most honest, and frankly the coolest guy at the network, and that's Charles Payne. This guy is the real deal, people. You know, when you're watching the news and you're watching a panel discussion, and one of the leftist guests or contributors says something that's so purposely inaccurate and dishonest and meant to deceive the audience, and nobody really calls them out on it, or they do, but kind of also don't, and the discussion is a little bit too cordial when that person said something that was so vehemently wrong, sometimes disgusting or dishonest, and that person needs to be frankly put in their place, but nobody does it. Yeah, if Charles Payne is on the panel, that's not happening. Is the guy who's representing you through the screen. He's the guy who, whenever you're watching, you'll never really be frustrated because he's gonna address the issue that's bothering you. He's gonna put it out there on the table and frickin' tell it like it is. I don't know if I'm describing this properly, but I get this immense frustration where I just wish I was there to say what needs to be said, but when Charles Payne is there, I don't get that frustration because he's saying it. Does that make sense? It should make sense. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, friends, so I guess there's somebody coming for Jessica Tarlov's job. Take a look at this headline. Liberal Fox contributor goes off during live segment during Biden gaffe discussion. Just take a look at Charles Payne hitting the nail right on the head.
Crowd looks like a little community, VF office. It doesn't even, it seems almost surreal, like a comedy plot that you would submit to a major network, like, hey, I've got an idea, for a show because it's his president, yada, yada. Now, they may kick you out of the studio and say that's too fantastical, could never happen, but it does not, it seems almost surreal at this point.
I'll let you answer that.
Well, the first thing, when you said there's difference between exaggeration and a lie, I just had to say, I won the election, it was rigged. Those are some lies, and I could go on and on. Look, from my perspective, whenever Joe Biden messes up a word, I hear about it across the board. I don't hear the same with former President Trump. This morning, I did an interview.
He's under gag order right now. You're probably not going to hear much.
This morning, I did an interview, and a full confession, and I said, the people of Pakistan. I didn't say the Palestinian territory, supporters, of Pakistan, not Palestine. Now, in my defense, I had not finished my first cup of coffee,
right.
But at the same time, am I demented?
So everyone
Leslie, this happens every speech.
It always offends me when people talk to me and us like we're dumb. What you're making is such a dumb example. We know what we're not talking about you or me or her, anyone making an occasional gaffe.
I don't think you're dumb.
We're talking about gaffe after gaffe after gaffe. No, you're not dumb. You're insulting. Gaffe after gaffe after gaffe after gaffe after gaffe.
No, but it's not just a word. Rafah and Haifa. Imagine him on the phone with a foreign leader, and he confuses Rafah and Haifa.
It's every day. It's every day. It's something.
It's just a slip of the tongue. It is not just a slip of the tongue. He does it each and every speech. This is why, Leslie, each and every poll shows the American voters, a majority do not think he has the mental acuity. Even Democratic voters, I've seen polls that show this. So to act like this is a one-off and he's the same as Donald Trump.
I never said it was a one-off. What I'm saying is I think it's normal for people to make gaffes. I use notes when I give speeches.
Okay,
I'm not running for president, but at the same time.
I've known Leslie for a decade, and we still look the same, both of us, by the way.
Charles Payne brings the frickin' pain. This guy is Charles the Pain Bringer. He's like the WWE champion. Put the frickin' belt on his shoulder. He is an absolute beast. You cannot say something disingenuous in front of this man. I frickin' love it. We hear so many tired, disingenuous arguments from these leftoids constantly attempting to misdirect or create a false equivalency to distract from the truth, and he's just not having it. And recently we've been hearing that Donald Trump is actually the one who's got mental problems and isn't all there. I remember Bill Maher attempted to make that argument on Joe Rogan's podcast, and of course we were seeing it in the leftist media that Donald Trump is actually the one with cognitive issues. They kept playing a couple clips where he misspoke a couple words.
We'll repeat your... because he understood tariffs. I charged him massive hundreds of millions of dollars.
Then, of course, we all remember during his first term in office, they were suggesting using the 25th Amendment to remove Donald Trump from office because he was no longer fit to serve. Why? Well, because he had leather-bottom shoes and he was slowly walking down a slippery ramp. This clip. The president slowly walks down a ramp with slippery, expensive shoes. Let's use the 25th Amendment. You know, these freaking clowns. And now they're trying to distract away from Joe Biden's clear deteriorating mental health by making the argument that it's actually media manufactured. We've heard this before. I think Jim Clyburn said this recently, that it's actually just a social media misinformation campaign, to which my response is honestly very similar to what Charles Payne said. I say this all the time. Does it say stupid on my forehead? Does it say big frickin' idiot on my forehead? No, it doesn't. So when I'm interacting with you leftoids, or if you're talking to us through the TV screen, how about you show me a basic level of respect and don't treat me like a complete moron, as if it's the same thing. President Trump a couple times messed up. Yeah, you know, I record videos every day. I record 3 videos every day, and I mess up constantly. I go without a script. I just open the mic and record. I make mistakes, and then I'll edit them out later. It's perfectly normal. We're not all the most talented orators who could just speak off the top of our heads and put together 3 fantastic monologues like our brains running on ChatGPT. You know, that's understandable. But Joe Biden's clear mental deterioration that we've seen in real time, you know, this...
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to
What must be what? I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true international effort to pressure.
Let me start off with 2 words. Made in America.
Saying true international pressure, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, I was in the foothills, actual cognitive decline playing out in front of us. Yeah, there's a difference. All of us honest adults in the room should be able to understand the distinction between the two. I mean, for Pete's sakes, he was running for the presidency. Could you imagine? You're running for president, the most prestigious, most powerful position on the globe. If you're running for president, you know that you're running for president. But Joe Biden multiple times while running for president forgot that he was running for president and kept announcing that he was running for the Senate.
My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate.
He didn't know what state he was in. He never knows where to go. He can't interact with the press without cue cards or a teleprompter. He can't go anywhere with a teleprompter. At this point, he's probably got some advanced Zuckerberg technology, teleprompter contact lenses that we're not aware of. Everything this man does, he is being held by the hand because he's too old, too frail to do anything on his own. But we're going to pretend as if, well, it's actually just a media misinformation circus that wants to portray this alternate reality of Joe Biden. Give me a break. The only misinformation campaign about Joe Biden's cognitive abilities is whatever I'm hearing from leftoids like this individual, this interesting individual on Fox News, attempting to convince the American people that the opposite is true, that Joe Biden's actually very, very cognitively sound and his vitality is through the roof, and really we're just misinformed and being misguided by a couple fake news clips. Give me a freaking break. That is the media disinformation campaign. That's the social media disinformation campaign. Although it's less of a campaign and more of a attempt at omitting reality from the public conversation and information/news flow. The disinformation campaign is the Biden basement campaign. The media and the Biden campaign colluding together to hide this guy as much as possible and to only show his highlights. Joe Biden doesn't exist for 4 frickin' months, and then all of a sudden you'll see selectively little edited clips from his State of the Union address, and Democrats across the board, across the media, just oohing and eyeing. Oh my lord, the greatest president of all time. It's completely stupid. The only thing that I ask is please don't ever treat me as if I'm stupid. Thank you, Charles Payne, once again, for being the most badass, based MFer at friggin' Fox News. Man, I love this guy. I don't think I've ever watched a segment, an interview, a conversation with this guy that I haven't thoroughly enjoyed. He is an absolute stud. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.